These students are trapped in a cave where time runs incredibly slow, and thousands of years have passed outside. Humanity has left for Mars during this time. A man named Professor Hopper is investigating an old hippie van alongside his dog, Boss. Hopper finds no people in the van, however. He finds a journal with odd drawings in it. He then finds a cave where he sees a man standing with a gun, but it seems that the man is completely frozen, not moving at all. Hopper leaves with the intent to return later. Hopper returns home and finds his students, Taylor and Jackie, sitting on the front porch. They ask him if he found the van and the hippies, and when they will go to look. Hopper tells them that he will be going into the cave by himself, and that Taylor and Jackie will stay home. He also assures them they don't need to worry about their grades, as this won't affect them. Hopper returns to the cave and sees that the man with the gun is still standing there. He enters the cave and notices that there is a weird invisible barrier made of moisture. Despite this clearly being alarming, Hopper goes through it. Back in town, several days have passed and Hopper has not returned, so Taylor and Jackie decide that they have to go looking for him. They need a jeep to reach the cave location, so they ask their friend Kara for help. Kara says she can lend them the jeep, but she has to come with them, and she also has to bring her little sister Vives along so she can film the expedition for a school project. Vives' classmate Furby also joins them. He spends the entire car ride to the cave continuously hitting on Jackie, who does not reciprocate his advances. During the car ride, Taylor explains for Vives' project that Hopper was obsessed with the case of some hippies who went looking for the Fountain of Youth and never returned home. Jackie and Taylor are working with Hopper on a research project investigating these hippies that went missing. Furby sets up connected cameras for everyone so that they can document everything. They arrive at the location of the hippie van. Jackie and Taylor find the same journal Hopper found earlier, along with a picture with the words, "The Hoppers," written on it. They realize that Hopper wasn't researching some random hippies. The hippies were his parents that went missing. Jackie finds a rope attached to the hippie van and follows it into the entrance of a cave. It's a different entrance to the same cave Hopper went into. The rope goes all the way to a cliff, where they find that it's cut off. They decide to climb down to find Hopper. Kara, Vives, Jackie, and Taylor climb down using ropes while Furby is left up at the car as a lookout, a job that he is not particularly excited to do. While climbing down, Kara feels the same moisture barrier that Hopper did earlier. We go back to the moment that Hopper crosses the barrier. As he crosses the barrier, the man with the gun starts moving and goes forward into the cave. Hopper looks back and sees that light and dark are rapidly shifting at the entrance of the cave. He hears some strange noises in the cave and decides to go back outside. As Hopper comes out of the cave, it's suddenly nightfall, and there are significantly more trees than there were before. He arrives at his car to find that it is covered in vegetation and dust, as if it has been standing there for a long time. He finds Kara's Jeep and looks inside. He recognizes Jackie's bag and realizes that Jackie and Taylor might be there. He decides to go back inside the cave to look for them. Kara, Taylor, Jackie, and Vives drop into the cave. Jackie and Vives go exploring a tunnel when they hear growls and screams. They all panic and decide that it's time to go back up. However, just as Jackie is climbing the rope suddenly snaps and Jackie falls, injuring her ankle. Taylor, who tried to catch her, injures his hand. They assume that Furby cut the ropes as a joke and try to contact him on the radio. After a few minutes of no response of any kind, they get a reply on the radio from Furby, who sounds injured and is calling for help. Taylor buzzes the radio and realizes that the reply is coming from inside the cave. The gang decides to go further into the cave to see who is on the other end of the radio. They reach another opening to the cave, but it's high up. The light is changing rapidly at the opening, going from dark to light in seconds. Kara finds Furby lying on the ground alongside some broken rope. He is dead. They are all shocked and panicked at what is going on. The gang decides to go through Furby's camera footage. They find that Furby's camera footage spans days, even though they have only been down in the cave for a few hours. Furby's footage shows him going through Hopper's father's journal, which says that this cave contains the Fountain of Youth, the water of which has healing powers. Furby waits for them to come back out of the cave for days, but when they don't, he begins to consider the idea that something terrible has happened. He cannot drive and go back, so he decides to climb down using a rope that Hopper tied to his entrance of the cave for emergencies. As he climbs down, Furby passes the moisture wall, which is actually the time barrier, and notices the sun passing by very quickly. Just then, the rope breaks and Furby falls and dies. The gang decides that Kara, being the only uninjured member, should climb up freehand and come back with help. Meanwhile, Taylor finally deduces that the light changes are days and nights passing quickly, but Kara doesn't believe him. Taylor gives Kara a GPS to send an SOS as soon as she is at the surface. Kara climbs out of the cave and reaches the surface. She sees that all the trees are gone. Everything is a barren wasteland, and an explosion of some kind is occurring. She has trouble breathing as she walks around trying to get a GPS signal. As she climbs up a small hill trying to get a signal, she notices a giant ship floating into space. Kara comes down and tells the gang everything she saw while she was up there, but they tell her it's impossible because she was only gone for 2 seconds. They compare the camera footages from inside and outside the cave again, and finally accept that time is passing differently in the cave. Taylor realizes that Furby wasn't dead when he fell, because he had called back to them on the radio for help. They re-watch the footage and find that some cavemen killed Furby. The cavemen must have been stuck in this cave since ancient times. They decide they must get out of the cave and make Kara climb up again, this time with the rope in hand, which fell down with Furby. While Kara is climbing, Vives notices in Furby's video that the path of the sun is changing as it rapidly passes, which represents solstice. The gang realizes that every time the light passes, it's not just a day, it's a year, which means that they have been in the cave for possibly thousands of years. Just then, a really high-tech ladder descends into the cave, and a giant futuristic-looking man climbs down. As he climbs down, a caveman appears and attacks him, but the giant man restrains the caveman. The gang runs away into another part of the cave where they find the Fountain of Youth, and they also find Hopper's parents, who are dead. They notice 3 cavemen blocking their path, and Taylor tells the girls to go while he fights them off. Taylor puts up a fight, but he is outnumbered by the cavemen, and they kill him. Kara returns to help Taylor and finds Taylor dead. She is distraught. The giant future man appears and tries to grab Taylor while Kara tries to fight him off. He finally manages to grab Taylor and places him into the fountain. Just then, the cavemen return and begin fighting the giant future man who is outnumbered and almost killed. Taylor comes back to life, and Taylor and Kara help the future man defeat the cavemen. The cavemen have damaged the future man's helmet, and he can't seem to breathe without it. Taylor and Kara ask him what year he is from, but he doesn't speak English. He shows them news footage that talks about missing reports of Taylor, Kara, Vives, Jackie, and Furby. Kara's dad appears on TV and asks people to help him find them. The future man then proceeds to show them footage that reveals that humanity built giant space engines and left Earth and colonized Mars. This is what Kara saw earlier when she climbed out of the cave. Taylor notices the potable giant ladder on the giant man's bag and says they have to get out of the cave using it. As they are about to go, Jackie notices Hopper's bag. Taylor tells them to get out of the cave while he goes to look for Hopper. Taylor finds Hopper, who is severely injured because cavemen attacked him. Hopper shows Taylor another section of the cave where time is even slower, and Hopper's sister is trapped in there. There is some kind of medieval war going on in there. Hopper tells Taylor to go before more cavemen come for them. Taylor argues that he could heal Hopper with the Fountain of Youth, but Hopper says he'll be dead before he reaches it and tells Taylor to go. Taylor and the gang place Furby in the Fountain of Youth to resurrect him. Just then, more cavemen arrive, and the gang runs to get out of the cave, leaving Furby behind. As they are getting out, they notice that the sun is no longer outside the cave, but instead, there is water and a green light at the entrance. Kara is the first to climb out of the cave, but as she reaches the water, some long, bony fingers pull her out. Meanwhile, the caveman downstairs conveniently touches the ladder at the spot which causes it to close, and they all fall. But as Kara crosses the barrier, time inside the cave stops for her. A few seconds later, long mechanical rescue arms appear, grabbing the remainder of the gang before they fall down, and Kara appears from inside the water, dressed up very differently. Kara rescues the gang, explaining that once they are on the other side of the barrier, time inside the cave is almost stopped, so they can take their sweet time up there, preparing to rescue Furby, Hopper, and the rest. The gang is pulled up by the mechanical arms, and a few seconds later, more mechanical arms appear to rescue Furby, Hopper, and Hopper's family. Furby, Hopper, and Hopper's family all wake up inside a spaceship to find Kara, Vives, Jackie, and Taylor all already there and dressed up. They explain that they are on a spaceship to Mars, and because of their encounter with the cave and its time-bending properties, they are the subject of much research with evolved humans of the future. They are kind of like celebrities. The end. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this.